Alex adjusted the controls of his small research ship as it cut through the alien atmosphere. Lyrian had been marked as a minor exploratory target, a planet whose orbit and climate were said to be chaotic. That detail had been mostly a footnote in his mission brief, but now, as the ship lurched violently through sudden gusts of wind, it became terrifyingly real. Bright streaks of color ran across the clouds, green lightning that shimmered against violet skies, and Alex's stomach tightened. He had landed on strange worlds before, but nothing like this. The weather didn't just change with the hour here, it shifted by the minute, like the planet itself was restless. He gritted his teeth as the ship's sensors screamed warnings. A sudden cold wave hit, and condensation froze over the control panels. He tried to stabilize the landing sequence, but a sudden gust slammed the ship sideways, and it crashed softly into a forest that glowed faintly with bioluminescent plants. Trees stretched high, their branches pulsing with soft blue light, and the ground beneath him throbbed with warmth, as if the planet had a heartbeat of its own. Alex unbuckled his harness and opened the hatch. Cold air rushed in, then a wave of heat from a nearby glowing stream washed over him. The storm that had slammed the ship minutes before was gone, replaced by an uneasy calm. The forest seemed alive. Leaves whispered, small creatures scuttled underfoot, and the air smelled sweet and metallic at the same time. He checked the ship for damage. The hull was scratched, minor systems were offline, but nothing catastrophic. Still, he couldn't leave yet. The atmosphere readings suggested that flying back immediately would risk another violent gust tearing the ship apart. He needed shelter, and fast. Moving cautiously through the glowing forest, Alex noticed footprints in the soft, luminous soil. They weren't human, and they weren't like any animal tracks he had ever seen. They were deliberate, upright, and the shape suggested beings that walked on two legs. He followed them, careful not to make noise, hoping they belonged to friendly inhabitants. After some time, he saw movement ahead. A figure appeared between the trees. It was slender, taller than a human, with skin that reflected the colors of the forest. Her hair shimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes glowed faintly. Alex froze, raising his hands slowly. "Don't be afraid," she said in a melodic voice, and surprisingly, he could understand her. English words, or something almost identical, formed clearly in his mind. He realized Lyrian's atmosphere somehow translated thought into speech for him. "You shouldn't be here alone. This forest can kill in a minute." My ship crashed," Alex said, trying to keep calm. "I wasn't expecting this." "I know," she said. "I am Kayla. Follow me." Kayla moved gracefully through the forest, and Alex followed, noting how effortlessly she navigated through the glowing roots and sudden dips in terrain. She didn't seem to notice the strange weather patterns, but he could. A sudden frost swept past them, making the leaves sparkle, and moments later, a warm breeze rolled over his face, melting the frost almost instantly. Kayla brought him to a small village built into the side of a canyon. The structures were sleek, almost organic, with materials that glimmered softly in the shifting light. There were shields above the village, translucent domes that hummed faintly, protecting the inhabitants from sudden storms. Alex was impressed. Every detail suggested intelligence and adaptability far beyond his expectations. "This is safe for now," Kayla said, "but storms can break through if we are unprepared." He nodded. "I can help. I have experience with extreme weather conditions on Earth." Kayla looked at him thoughtfully. "Humans are rare here. You survive things that most beings on this planet cannot. That may be why you are here." Over the next few hours, Alex learned more about the instability of Lyrian. The planet's axis and orbit produced chaotic energy fields that influenced weather unpredictably. Storms, heat waves, freezing spells. and sudden electrical discharges were common. Even the native species had developed unique biological adaptations, but many still fell victim to severe changes. Kayla explained that her village had protective systems, but they couldn't cover everything, especially if the planet's energy field surged unusually. Alex was fascinated. Lyrian was dangerous, yes, but it was also beautiful. He wandered through fields that glowed in shifting colors, rivers that reflected the sky's violent hues, and trees whose roots hummed faintly. He noted how the native technology harmonized with the natural environment rather than fighting it. Shelters shifted, lights adapted, shields absorbed excess energy. He realized that Kayla's people were not just surviving here. They were thriving in one of the most unpredictable environments imaginable. Kayla brought him to a tall tower at the center of the village. Inside, instruments monitored weather patterns and the planet's energy field. Alex immediately began analyzing the data. "This is incredible," he said. "I've never seen fluctuations like this. On Earth, storms are predictable. Here, there's no pattern. It's random, chaotic, but not useless. It feels alive." Kayla smiled faintly. "It is alive. We believe the planet itself chooses who may survive here. Humans, you are rare visitors, but somehow you can endure. That is why I asked you to stay." Alex was taken aback. "Stay? I have a mission. People waiting." "The mission here may be bigger than yours," Kayla said. "The storms are worsening. Some energy spikes can destroy entire regions. You can help us. You understand adaptive strategies. You can survive where others may not." Alex paused, considering her words. The storm outside suddenly intensified. A cold wind blew through the village, rattling windows and making the shields hum loudly. Trees bent under the invisible pressure, and Alex could feel the energy surge through the ground. This was what Kayla had warned him about. Without thinking, Alex ran to help stabilize the energy shields, using knowledge from Earth's extreme weather protocols. He adjusted shields, rerouted power, and suggested temporary barriers that harmonized with the existing technology. Kayla watched him, impressed. Not only did he act quickly, but his human ingenuity brought solutions the village had never tried. By the time the storm subsided, Alex had gained the trust of the villagers. They looked at him with a mix of awe and gratitude. Kayla approached him, her eyes glowing softly in the dim light. "You see," she said, "you are more than a visitor, you are a protector. I asked you to stay because your presence matters more than you know." Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had always considered himself a survivor, someone who adapted to conditions rather than changing them. But here on Lyrian, he felt needed, important. Not just as a human on a foreign world, but as someone who could make a real difference. Over the next days, Alex learned more about daily life in the village. He helped adjust environmental controls, monitored energy fluctuations, and even experimented with small agricultural techniques that used earth methods to stabilize crops in chaotic soil conditions. Each time Kayla observed him, her admiration growing. She would often guide him to hidden areas, glowing caves, floating gardens, and crystalline rivers that reflected the shifting sky. The planet was unpredictable, yes, but it had beauty and wonder that Alex had never imagined. At night, they would sit by a glowing stream talking about Earth, Lyrian, and the unpredictability of life. Kayla shared stories of her ancestors and how they learned to survive through intuition, creativity, and cooperation. Alex shared tales of human resilience, of surviving storms, harsh deserts, and freezing mountains. They laughed at their differences, marveled at their similarities, and slowly, a bond grew between them. One evening, Kayla turned to him, her eyes reflecting the shimmering light of the forest. "Alex, leaving now, it would be dangerous. The seasons are shifting faster. You can help protect more than just this village. You can help stabilize this region. You can help save lives. Alex felt a surge of responsibility. His mission on Earth seemed distant, trivial even. Here, he could make a difference in ways he had never imagined. He nodded slowly. I'll stay. For now, at least. Kayla smiled, a mix of relief and something deeper. She didn't say it, but Alex felt it, a bond, a connection, and a sense of purpose he had never known. Together, they watched the sky shift colors, feeling the pulse of Lyrian beneath their feet. The storm might return, unpredictable and violent, but for the first time, Alex felt ready to face it, not alone, but with Kayla, on a world that demanded everything he had to give. And as he looked around, he realized that staying wasn't just a choice. It was the beginning of something bigger, a journey where humanity's resilience could shine, even on an alien world that bent the rules of survival itself. The days on Lyrian passed quickly, though each was unpredictable. Storms erupted without warning, rivers swelled and changed color, and the temperature swung from blistering heat to freezing cold in a matter of hours. Alex had learned to anticipate the patterns, not by reading charts, but by feeling the planet's pulse. The forest seemed alive, and he had begun to sense its moods. Kayla often laughed at him, saying humans were surprisingly intuitive for such small creatures, and Alex found himself smiling more than he had in months. One morning, the sky turned a bright, angry orange, and a tremor shook the village. Kayla rushed to Alex, her glowing eyes wide with concern. The energy field is surging again. This time it could affect the entire southern valley. We must act fast. Alex nodded. Show me the readings. They climbed the tower where the village's monitoring system hummed with power. Alex's eyes scanned the data. The fluctuations were massive, far beyond anything the village had recorded before. If this spike reaches the lower valley, it could destroy everything, he said. We need to stabilize the field manually. I have an idea, but I'll need your help. Kayla didn't hesitate. Lead the way. They moved through the village, instructing others to activate emergency shields and relocate vulnerable inhabitants. Alex used Earth-inspired techniques, channeling energy through resonating conductors and creating temporary pressure buffers with local materials, improvising solutions that the natives had never tried. Kayla watched closely, adjusting systems where she could, her admiration evident in every gesture. As they worked, the storm intensified. Winds tore through the valley, uprooting trees and sending shards of ice and rock flying. Rain fell in sheets of shimmering liquid, almost like molten glass. Alex and Kayla held firm, shouting instructions over the roar of the storm. Each time a shield faltered, Alex recalculated, rerouted power, and bolstered defenses with ingenuity and speed. By mid-afternoon, the immediate danger passed. The southern valley was intact, though battered. Villagers emerged, exhausted but unharmed. They looked at Alex with awe, their voices a mix of gratitude and disbelief. Kayla approached him, her eyes shining through the fading storm. You did more than survive, she said softly. You saved lives today. You weren't just helping, you were protecting the planet itself. Alex shook his head, trying to hide the pride swelling in his chest. I just did what anyone would do. I couldn't leave people in danger. Kayla smiled, stepping closer. Not everyone can adapt the way you can. That is why I asked you to stay. Lyrian chose you, Alex. And I think I've chosen you too. Alex's breath caught. The connection between them had grown over the past days. A blend of trust, admiration, and unspoken attraction. But hearing her say it aloud was unexpected. He realized in that moment that his heart had begun to beat in rhythm with the planet, with Kayla, and with the life he had found here. The next weeks were a blend of intense work and quiet discovery. Alex learned more about Lyrian's energy field and how it influenced the seasons. The field was semi-conscious, reacting to the presence of beings who could withstand its unpredictability. Humans, Kayla explained, were rare because only their species could endure rapid fluctuations without harm. Alex's adaptability meant he could act as a stabilizing influence, subtly harmonizing the energy field with his own presence and ingenuity. Kayla guided him to hidden places across the planet. They explored floating islands tethered by energy streams, caverns with crystals that hummed with the planet's heartbeat, and forests that glowed brighter with each passing hour. Each discovery deepened Alex's respect for Lyrian and his bond with Kayla. He realized that the planet's beauty was inseparable from its danger, and that surviving here demanded creativity, courage, and cooperation. One evening, the planet shifted abruptly. A storm unlike any before approached, massive, violent, and seemingly intelligent. Kayla's village braced for impact. "This is it," Kayla said, her voice tense. "The largest surge in centuries. If we fail, the southern valley and much of the forest could be destroyed." Alex took a deep breath. He had learned to trust the planet's rhythms, to read its subtle signals. "We won't fail," he said. "We'll stabilize it. I can feel the energy. I just need you to follow my lead." They worked together, moving through the village and surrounding forests, connecting conductors and energy absorbers in a network that mirrored the planet's natural flow. Kayla adjusted systems, relaying his instructions with precision. Villagers assisted where they could, following the human's lead. Alex's mind raced, calculating, improvising, and adapting. Every instinct, every skill he had learned on Earth, and every lesson from Lyrian combined into a single purpose: protecting life. The storm hit with full force. Lightning tore across the sky, winds shredded the trees, and the ground shook with tremors. Alex stood firm, channeling energy through the network, directing the planet's surges into controlled pathways. Kayla stayed by his side, her hands steady, her presence a calm anchor amidst chaos. Hours passed. Exhaustion clawed at him, but he refused to stop. The storm seemed to test him, pushing his limits, but Alex's determination never wavered. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the energy field began to respond. Lightning strikes diverted safely, winds calmed, and the tremors lessened. The planet's chaotic pulse synchronized with Alex's interventions, and at last, the storm subsided. The valley and village remained intact. Villagers cheered, their voices carrying through the glowing forest. Kayla embraced Alex, her eyes shimmering. You saved us all," she whispered. "You didn't just survive. You protected this world." Alex looked around, exhausted but exhilarated. He realized that staying had been more than a choice. It was a purpose he had been uniquely prepared for. Humans could adapt, create, and endure. Here on Lyrian, that adaptability had made a difference, had saved lives, and had stabilized a planet teetering on the edge of chaos. In the following days, the villagers celebrated, but Alex and Kayla focused on repairing and improving systems. They tested new energy harmonizers, reinforced protective barriers, and planted resilient crops using a combination of Lyrian's biology and Earth's techniques. The planet began to show signs of longer-term stability, and Alex could feel the energy field responding positively to his presence. Their bond deepened naturally. They shared stories, laughter, and quiet moments under the shimmering skies. Kayla showed Alex the most secret places, crystal lakes that reflected the stars, caves that glowed with living minerals, and fields of flowers that bloomed unpredictably, yet beautifully. Alex realized he was no longer just a visitor. He belonged here. One night, sitting by a river that glowed like molten silver, Kayla turned to Alex. "I asked you to stay because I believed you could survive the instability. But now I realize you are more than that. You are part of Lyrian. Your courage, your mind, your heart, They are woven into this world. Alex felt a surge of emotion. I didn't expect to find this place or you, he said softly. But now, I can't imagine leaving. I want to help, to stay, to be part of this world with you. Kayla smiled, her glowing eyes reflecting the river's shimmer. Then stay, Alex. Not just for the planet, but for us. Together we can face anything, even the chaos of Lyrian's seasons. As the night passed, Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The storms might return, the seasons might shift unpredictably, but he knew he could endure. With Kayla by his side, with his ingenuity and human resilience, and with the trust of the villagers, he could protect this world. Humanity's strength, adaptability, and courage had found a place even among alien worlds, proving that even the most unpredictable planets could be met with determination and heart. And so, Alex stayed. He became a bridge between Earth and Lyrian, a human presence that stabilized the chaos, helped the village thrive, and built a bond that transcended species and worlds. Lyrian's seasons remained unpredictable, but now there was hope. And as Alex and Kyla stood together, watching the glowing horizon, they understood that survival, courage, and connection could turn even the most dangerous world into a home. Lyrian was alive, the seasons were unstable, but Alex had become part of the planet's heartbeat. His story was a testament to humanity's ability to endure, adapt, and flourish, even on a world that defied every expectation.